Does the NFL have a quarterback problem? Why is Phillip Rivers able to go from the couch to the pocket 5 years after retiring? I'm Doug Kezirian. This is Hard Pass, also available in podcast. Quarterback play has been a big talking point this week in the NFL, thanks to 44-year-old Phillip Rivers starting for the Colts on Monday Night Football, and then 3 third-stringers starting games on Christmas Day, which prompted this hilarious tweet. Ah, yes, the old holding the eyeballs open forced. Yes, we will still watch the NFL even if Max Brosmer, Chris Oladokun, and Josh Johnson are all starting island games.
The pressure turned all the way up on Christmas by the Lions.
But the convo really started with Phillip Rivers. Quarterback, widely considered the hardest position to play in all of sports. So how is a guy who retired 5 years ago, capable of going directly from the couch to the pocket and play better than so many younger QBs? And why is this such a lost art nowadays?
White, 80 high, Lincoln sub. Sam, 180. Hey, Lincoln thumb. White, 80 high, Lincoln thumb.
Putting guys in place.
Hey, Rat. No Cousins.
He's got a man wide open. That's downs.
All professional athletes will tell you the brain is the last thing to go, while the body is the first. That's why Rivers can still make all the reads and at least some or even most throws. He was drafted in 2004. He has a PhD in reading defenses. But that's not surprising. What is surprising is that his acumen stands out from so many other current QBs in the NFL. The reason is because the league has become a different league over the past decade. Quarterbacks after Rivers and throughout his era have traveled down a different path and learned the position in a completely different way. So, a physically limited, albeit 44-year-old with a high football IQ is that much more valuable now, even if his arm and body can't do everything it once could. So the question is, why do we have a different type of quarterback in the NFL nowadays? Well, 37-year-old Kirk Cousins was asked that very question. He explained how he's played in both eras, elaborating how he came up in the world, even in college at Michigan State, that asked quarterbacks to read safeties at the line of scrimmage before the snap, which simplified things.
I lived the jump.
Right.
So I came into the league, even at Michigan State, it was you see coverage and you pick a side and you basically take 5 eligibles down to 2, down to your check down. And so you cut the field in half, and it was, I got single high, I'm going, outside the red line to inside to my back. And you're really only thinking about 3 eligibles because the other 2 over here were meant for split safety, and I got single high. And so it kind of protected you.
Just to clarify, because there's a lot of football jargon there, Cousins was taught pre-snap to assess the defensive coverage of the opponent's safeties. One of 2 options. And then based on what he saw, only worry about the wide receivers that fit the option he saw, that trimmed the fat, condensed the field into a few possible targets. Well, like anything, defenses adjusted.
Defenses got so good at disguising it that I would be so stressed going into games going, the whole game plan's built on, is it single high or split safety? And I can't see if it's single high or split safety. Like, these defenses are just making it muddy until I'm 3 steps into my drop. So coaches started to realize, like, if we ask the quarterback to do that, it's going to be really hard because defenses know that's the game we're playing. They're not going to let us play it.
So offensive coaches were then forced to adjust. They realized that it made no sense to train QBs on a game plan that can easily blow up in their face if the defense disguised the initial pre-snap read. So they went back to the drawing board and had to simplify things even further. That's when the NFL decided to borrow from college football and make the transition much easier for rookie quarterbacks, implementing packages and concepts from the spread offense, which essentially every college QB uses. This way, guys like Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels can start right away and be effective. They're still susceptible to growing pains and other mistakes, but so are quarterbacks that have the conventional training. So why be super conservative? Yes, Jordan Love was one of the outliers, but for the most part, start everyone right away. The young QB can open doors the veterans cannot, because the holy grail is making a playoff run with a quarterback on a rookie contract, like Cincy did with Joe Burrow in 2021, barely losing the Super Bowl. That's why these young QBs have to play right away. The upside of spending your salary cap on other positions while still having an effective quarterback, it's huge. But old school coaches like John Gruden with Jackson Dart may take some time to adjust.
Go ahead.
You ready?
Yeah. No, I want to hear the snap count.
Yeah.
Really? Every time?
Every time.
Do you have like a dummy clap or anything?
Yeah, we call it purple.
What's that? No shit.
Yeah.
For 3 years, you've been clapping. I think I could do that.
Let me hear it.
No, I ain't doing it.
Man, you could feel Gruden's disgust, just shocked as well. A guy who popularized Spider 2-wide banana has seen a sport he loved minimized to clapping. Remember, Oregon during the Chip Kelly era grabbed our attention by holding up those giant placards or signs with simple pictures like a game of concentration. This was all the QB needed, and it's only become even more simplified in many ways. Guys like Daniels still don't even take snaps under center, remaining almost exclusively in the shotgun formation. Of course, social media has reacted to all this, these quarterbacks playing on Christmas Day, the third stringers and whatnot, so it's time for a heat check. Watching Phillip Rivers be a field general last night made me realize how ass this QB era is compared to the 2000s. We used to watch gods play football, and then it's Roethlisberger, Mahomes, and then Matt Ryan. You still got Luck in there, Brady with the Patriots, Phillip Rivers with the Chargers, Eli Manning, and some other big names. The NFL QB situation is terrible because they throw young talent into terrible situations, which lead them to being burnt out, injured out the league before they can even be the old QB. Now, that last part is interesting because this new wave of quarterbacking has allowed some guys to follow, let's call it, unconventional paths. Specifically, Bryce Young of the Carolina Panthers, drafted number 1 overall out of Alabama, went to a bad team, thrown to the Wolves, unsurprisingly, and then he stunk, also got hurt, struggled in many ways. Now, part of that could be because he's just tiny and undersized, but having spent some time on the bench, backing up the Red Rifle, and then playing well. So maybe he's starting to figure out some things, and after all, he's only in his 3rd season. Now, Dak Prescott is 32. He certainly understands defensive concepts and makes plenty of calls at the line of scrimmage. He might be right on that cusp between the old era and new era, but he's certainly a sort of game choreographer. I don't want to call him game manager because he's better than that, but he makes a lot of calls at the line. Same with Jordan Love, who's only 27, but remember, he didn't play right away. He learned the complexities of the position while backing up Aaron Rodgers. But then there's also a guy like Sam Darnold, drafted 3rd overall in 2018, didn't materialize at all for the Jets, labeled a bust, then bounced around. But last year, in his 7th season, had a resurgence and continuing that into this season. Why is that? Are the Vikings and Seahawks just better situations and coaching staffs? Maybe, but he's also evolved. Remember, players are allowed to improve. Shocking concept, I know. The question is whether other quarterbacks will evolve like Darnold, or will Eli Manning and Tom Brady feel compelled to end their retirements and join Rivers back in the NFL? Join the conversation. Let me know your thoughts. Am I crazy with this breakdown and trying to dissect and get to the core of the issues? Or do we just, plain and simple, have worse quarterback play than we did maybe during the 2000s? And also, please like and subscribe the show. It really helps us with the analytics. That is the currency in this YouTube world.